Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Another Athlete's Mind athlete interview. It's been a while since we've actually interviewed an athlete on here. Super excited for this one. We have a very familiar face back on the channel. Most of you would have seen the documentary of Quillan Salkilld of his lead up to the UFC Contender series. Well, we're back with you, Quillan. Thank you so much for taking the time. You're now 7-1, you're 25 years of age, and you are debuting in Sydney on UFC 312. How's camp been going and how are you feeling?
Man, camp's been bloody hot. Been, quite hectic. I feel like I'm going insane with the heat. It's been like 40-degree days trying to, push in the gym, but, end of the day, it's going to be, all worth it, I think, on fight night when there's, aircon and fans in the arena, I think I'm going to have that Marab-like cardio, so all going to pay off.
Definitely. I guess that's what you want. You want a camp to be hard, and I guess obviously it sucks, the heat. Perth weather is cooked, but it will help you in the long run. So that's what matters. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about the Contender series. Now, you are obviously coming off a win off the Contender series. Now, I wanted to ask you how the travel was. A lot of people say traveling all that way to compete at the highest level can be a big disadvantage. How did you find traveling to compete?
Very exciting. The only hard thing was getting used to the time difference. Obviously, Vegas is 14 hours ahead, so getting used to that time difference, and my sleep schedule was off for like the first 4 or 5 days that we're there. But we got there extra early to to counter for that. So by the end of it, it was fine. But traveling to compete is super exciting. So I love doing it, no matter how far away it is. I always feel good going, and I think the excitement counteracts all like the fatigue from all the traveling and say like the time zone differences.
Yeah, definitely, man. And talking about your performance, it was a very entertaining fight. You were a little bit critical of yourself, as all fighters are. They're always going to critique their performance. But I want to ask you, Dana White, he came out of his seat, came into the cage. You don't see him do that a lot. He was very impressed, clearly. What was going through your head when he came up to you to shake your hand?
In the moment, I was actually quite surprised, because I was only critical mainly of myself in the moment, like straight after. I didn't think I did as well as I actually did. It was only after the fight where I actually re-watched the fight where I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty good. I see why people will say I've had like a good performance. But I was more shocked. Like, I was obviously super gassed after the fight, hard fight, walking around trying to recover, and I turn around and Dana White's there with his hand out, going to shake it. And I was like, oh shit, like didn't expect it, and it's
pretty surreal, yeah. Now, we'll talk on to the exciting stuff. UFC 312, obviously your debut. You are fighting Anshul Jubli on February 9th. Now, you're debuting on home soil. That's something a lot of fighters dream about when they're coming up to compete at the highest level. How excited are you to knowing that you're going to be walking out to an Aussie crowd?
Oh, I always envision that on the way to training. Gets me pumped up, just imagining myself walking out with, the whole crowd, cheering. And I know with all the Aussie events, I'll probably be on the first, 1, 2 or 3 fights. I know from the get-go, from the opening, from the opening fight, the arena's always packed on all the Aussie events. I know if I was to travel, in the States, you always see the prelims, no one's in the arena until like the main card, but here, packed from the get-go, everyone's already drunk by 5 a.m. in the morning, so that's perfect. I'd love a rowdy crowd, so that's going to be great.
That's the Aussie culture, and I guess that's going to help you in the fight, obviously. Now, Anshul Jubli is the only Indian male UFC fighter from my knowledge. In a way, you kind of have the whole of India kind of coming after you in the socials, and we saw when you announced the fight, the comments were, it was brutal in there. Does that kind of thing like motivate you, that social media like attention, whether it's positive or negative?
Kind of. I like to have fun with it. Like, I don't take the comments too seriously, or even any like DMs. Like, I take it as a joke. Some of it's pretty funny, because most of it is kind of like broken English, so it's it doesn't hit as hard if they say anything mean. It's more funny. But with the stuff I've been getting, like, it's kind of 50-50 with positive and negative stuff, so it kind of balances out. It's all good at the end of the day.
That's good. Now, obviously, without giving away too much of your game, do you think Anshul Jubli, he's going to be able to keep up with your ground game? We've obviously seen in previous fights that is a huge strength of yours, your wrestling. Is that something you look to do in this fight?
Yeah, of course. I I'm going to mix it up like always. I'm not just going to go out there and just, do one thing. I'm a mixed martial artist. I'm going to mix up everything, which is where I think I have the advantage over Anshul. I think he's going to just try to strike. I don't think he's going to have any like offensive, like grappling pressure towards me unless he gets hurt on the feet. I just got more, tools to utilise in the fight against him, which I think is going to be his downfall. I got, many things to use. He's only got a few things.
Definitely. Now, something interesting I did want to ask you that some people might not know, especially those over in the US. You did used to play Aussie rules footy. Now, I did want to ask, do you think to a certain capacity that has helped you with your wrestling? When you first started MMA, did the tackling from AFL kind of translate into your wrestling game a little bit?
Probably not so much, mainly the fitness, I think. Because I was a wingman or halfback flank, okay. So I used to run quite a bit, and I think that fitness and that cardio and that ability to push, that helped. But in terms of the actual wrestling stuff, not so much. It's very different,
Well, so you're more of an outside player in footy?
Outside player, yeah. I was a seagull. I'd do the old hide on the boundary line, pretend I was on the bench, and then I'd run in. Yeah,
you come out of nowhere, yeah. No, I was the same. There's nothing wrong with that. You need those players. Now, being a lightweight, the lightweight division is a very tough competition, as we all know. It's a very deep division in the UFC. Obviously, your focus is UFC 312, but how much does the future actually excite you, knowing that you're in such a tough division? Yeah,
exciting. It's what I do this for. It's for like the excitement. It's like I feel like an adrenaline junkie sometimes. Some people like to jump out of planes, skydive, bungee jump, do all that. Fighting in a stacked division in the UFC at the highest level, that's my height. That excites me every day thinking about it. Coming up against guys like, although all the guys at the top, all the killers will probably be retired by the time I get there. They're kind of on their way out. Last few fights, Gaethje, Poirier, Oliveira, even Islam, they're like mid 30s almost. So say it takes me 3-4 years to get there, I think those guys will be probably gone on the way out. Definitely. Or make me look good when they're old on a big losing streak, and I get to add to that, and I have them on my resumes. That'll be cool. Hopefully they're still kicking about old and that by the time I get to fight them.
For sure, definitely. Well, I guess like you said, the division will change quite a lot. Now, I did want to ask you, training alongside Cody Haddon, it's very rare that you see two UFC fighters from the same state, but also the same gym. Romel's done an amazing job with the both of you. How is it training alongside Cody, and how does that kind of push you, knowing that you're both going towards the same goal?
Yeah, it's very motivating because we're both on the same track, and obviously we're both doing well. So I think, when we both do well, it pushes each other to not, stop that momentum. So we're trying to push each other to keep, reaching new heights. And sometimes, I see Cody walk into the gym, even though he's, 2 weight classes lighter than me, I still get the nerves, especially sparring day. I just know the pace he's going to put on is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to get dog tired. Sometimes it's the last round and we're together, both our hands are just dropping and just staring at each other, just swinging. Nothing in the punches, we were just swinging, just looking like two freaking retards going at it. But that's how tired we get in the gym. So yeah, it's pretty hectic training alongside Cody.
That's good, man. And obviously, Romel and Jasmine both have been amazing for throughout your career and moving forward in your career as well. What do you have to say about their support and how much it means to you?
Oh, it's everything. Their support is without it, wouldn't be here. Not at all. Jazz does everything, not just for me, for Cody, for the gym. Pretty much, she's like the gym's mum. Pretty much, she takes care of everything. And Romel, since day one, has had me under his wing, treating me like a son of his in the gym, taking care of me, passing all his knowledge on to me, doing what's best for me. And I'm going to be eternally grateful for forever.
And just one last question for you, Quillan. Obviously, promoting yourself as a fighter is a big thing in this business, as we all know. Something that you have definitely embraced. You got the mustache, you do cooking with Quillan occasionally. Is that something that you've really embraced and know that you have to take seriously going into the UFC?
Kind of. I think more the performances are more important than trying to push yourself, say, on social media. Sometimes I'll do it for fun, just a bit of, mucking around. always good fun. But the main source of, what should you call it, like advertising yourself is obviously going to be in the cage, your performances. That's what matters the most. Doesn't matter what I do outside, say on like social media. If I perform shit, then no one's really going to give a shit, aren't they? So number one, exciting and finishing guys in the octagon.
Exactly. Well, I wish you the best of luck, Quillan Salkilld. Obviously, debut you at February 9th, UFC 312. You're going to smash it, man. We'll all be watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.